Oh, hi.
Hi. Hi.
Welcome to our first episode of What We Saw This Week. A title that we're quite at ease with.
Yes, I think we are. Simple does the job.
Yeah, it flows off the tongue. Okay, I've got one. I was on a tram this week. This actually didn't happen this week. It happened a few weeks ago, but fuck you. And I was on the tram and I sat down, and up the end of the tram there was a crazy guy that started sort of just yelling a lot, just like, that's the thing, that's okay, it's kids, yeah, that's what they said, yeah, that's what I'm saying, isn't it? And you're like, okay, great, we've got a crazy on the tram. So I'm sitting up right at the other end of the back of the tram, he's up the front next to the driver.
Did he say the word cunt?
No, he didn't swear at all.
Really?
He was really just kind of going on a rant about kids these days, and I think he mentioned the word.
So it wasn't one of those crazy people?
No, he wasn't like that.
Yeah.
No, but that's the funny thing, because, so I'm sitting there, and I'm on my own, and I had my headphones in, but I took them out just because I was kind of listening, and then there's this guy sitting near me that kind of sort of looks at me and just goes, "Oh, Christ." Like that, right? And I was like, and I kind of smiled because I thought that's quite a funny reaction, like, oh, we've got one of those crazy ones. And I was like, oh, Christ. Anyway, this guy starts getting more and more intense, and I realised this guy was crazier than the guy at the front of the train. So he's sitting there just getting more and more sort of passive and just like, oh, God. And finally he just bursts and just goes, "Shut up, you poofter!" Right? And I'm all for that word coming back, as long as it has nothing to do with being gay, as long as it's just as random as that, as stupid. So it just does that, right? Now we're just sitting there. This kind of went on, and finally the tram's coming to stop, and he stood up to get off, and he's standing at the back door of the tram, so you can think about where the back door of the tram, and the driver's door, so the back of the tram that's not being used, was loose, it was just kind of swinging. So the tram comes to a stop, and it was weird, I was just watching it, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. So the tram stops, and the driver's door just gently swings open and hits this guy in the back, right? Just sort of taps against him. Oh. And he did the best overreaction I've ever seen in my life, where he just got the door and just went, "Fuck you!" And it was great. It was so good, like yelling "fuck you" at an inanimate object. Yeah.
How rude.
It was awesome. Anyway, so that's my tram story. I've got another tram story. It's in the tram story. I've got a video I took on a tram, which is just here. And I walked onto a tram, and that guy was just lying there like that.
And that's always fun.
And that was awesome. And it was that thing where no one knew whether they should
poke him,
or just whether they could look. Meanwhile, I'm trying to work out a way of filming it and not showing that I'm filming it on my mobile. But everyone's kind of looking at each other, kind of like, are we allowed to think that's completely ridiculous that he's taking all their seats, whatever? And the best thing was that I was on St Kilda Road, and these corporate guys walked on.
Well, yesterday I was on the train, and there was this chick, and she was quite, well presented, not to the point where you're like, oh yes, she's very, done up. No, she was obviously from Craigieburn, but she wasn't dirty, she wasn't,
She was from Craigieburn, but she wasn't dirty. That's such a good qualification. It's like, oh.
Shut up.
No, that's what you said.
Well, that's true, I did say that. Anyway, she wasn't, she wasn't on drugs, I don't think. Like, she didn't look fucked.
So she's like one of the standouts of the community then?
Some people who live in Craigieburn are very nice. However, maybe I shouldn't put this comment on. I might get all this hate mail from Craigieburn. Like, fuck you! Craigierburn's beautiful! We've got Delphin on our side.
Tell the damn story.
Okay, so she's sitting there and she was quite, makeup, blah, blah, blah. Didn't look fucked. She was just sort of sitting there, and then she sort of started rocking. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, whatevs. And then suddenly, I've got my iPod in, but then I could still hear, "You're the voice, trying to understand it, make a voice and make it clear." Whoa.
So she was singing?
She was singing. But then she wouldn't stick with one song for more than about 20 seconds at the most.
You mean she was going through Whispering Jack?
No, it wasn't even just John Farnham, it was the full gamut. Like, she was like, "You're the voice, trying to understand it. Na 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 na. Objection, I don't want to be the exception. Na 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 na." Do you know what I mean? She'd just like go from song to song to song to song to song. And she was just like having her own little sing-along party, with just 10 seconds of each song. And then she was sitting there and people were kind of doing the thing they do on the train where they're just kind of like, I'm not really seeing this, I'm looking over there and making a huge effort not to look at you. And then I got detained, fucking detained, but it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault because it was his fault. He deserved it because otherwise that fucking vampire would have bitten me in the ass. And that's when everyone kind of stared.
So they stopped pretending they weren't looking.
They stopped pretending they weren't looking.
They just got out the popcorn.
And I was like, what? And then she was like, vampire. I bet you vampire for ages.
So I thought maybe we should talk about what we've been watching on YouTube. So I've been watching, and I sent you these links, and this is courtesy of my friend Alethea who linked these on Facebook, and it was this brilliant moment of just what the internet is about now, which is pretty exciting, which is Kittens According to Kittens. Watch that, it's great. For more sort of child-related weirdness is David After Dentist. And then there's the weird moment where both of these come together in a beautiful moment, which is Kittens According to David After Dentist. And so watch them, because they're good fun.
Yeah. But they're so wrong in a way as well.
Well, they're kind of wrong in different reasons. The first one's wrong just because she's too smart, like, she's too perceptive. I don't want to give it away, watch it. And the second one's wrong because it's like, why is this guy filming this kid? Like what's the story with that? So that's what I've been watching. You've got something?
I've been watching Benny Lava, which is a Bollywood film clip, and they've actually just put subtitles as to what it sounds like, not actually the real translation. And it comes out as something, with some hilarious things that involve, minor bun engines and papaya and Hindu Jews. So that's making me laugh this week. I'm also, on the nerdy side of things, watching what are they called? The buzzy things, the electronic, they're called like big, they look like a dome and they spit out electricity.
Do you mean like they produce lightning?
Tesla coils!
Okay, thank you for watching. I don't know when this is going to happen again, but if you like
maybe
subscribe. Yeah, maybe never. We'll see what the fallout is. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
See you next time.
The wave was a bad move, wasn't it?